So, hi everyone, this very special webinar today. Female Wave of Change right now in this time of the worldwide pandemic is really focused on supporting as many women, men, families, communities, organizations worldwide to cope with the situation as we're in, but also to very much focus on the future. And the thing that what bothered me a little bit, that a lot of us were talking about the older generation only in a way that they were vulnerable and that we had to take care of them and things like that. And I was like, I know so many people that that generation who are very active and are very committed of making change happen right now. So that is why I really wanted to have this group together to discuss, to show who you are and to discuss where we're going, how your vision is, where we are going. So I see more people coming in. My first question, and then I give the word to Pamela, is there anyone who objects that this is being recorded? No. Okay, Pamela, the floor is yours. Mute yourselves if you're not speaking, please.
Thanks so much, Ingun. It's my honor to be chairing this panel of amazing women leaders from around the world. And I'm very excited to say that recently I accepted to become Ambassador for Canada, a female wave of change. So really feel inspired by all these women, and I'm so looking forward to being further inspired and to learning from them today. So welcome all the folks who are listening. A little bit about me. I actually have been working on 5 continents for about 25 years as a global health and management consultant. The last few years, I've really focused on working with leaders and change makers and supporting them to embrace change, to thrive in life and business, and to lead in uncertain times. And I do this through workshops, speaking, and my writing. Enough about me, on to introducing these amazing trailblazers to you. I'm going to start with Bonnie Fatio. She is a master change catalyst, global speaker, and mentor. She ignites the potential in women leaders around the world. Acting on her belief to positively transform our world, we need women at all levels of leadership around the globe. For decades, she has inspired and challenged audiences globally to act on their greater visions. In 2016, she founded Inspired Women Lead, a global cross-border, cross-culture mentoring movement in authentic feminine leadership to encourage and boost the woman with a fire within her to develop her vision and inspire her leadership. Today, women in 71 countries are being mentored to lead globally, and several million lives impacted. Bonnie Fatio has been recognized internationally for opening new paths and bringing an innovative voice to the space of women's leadership. As an American and Swiss, she has held leadership roles in government, civic groups, the international community, and boards. She has founded 2 companies and the Age Esteem movement that promotes loving yourself at any age. Since turning 60, in addition to founding Inspired Women Lead and Age Esteem, Bonnie has published 2 books, written introductions for 3, and been awarded 3 times globally and honored by a princess. So I'm sure Bonnie has lots of learnings to share and an amazing vision for us all. So welcome in, Bonnie. Thank you, Shashi. Our second panelist is Dr. Celina Pina. She is the CEO and clinical administrator of VGI Mental Health in the Massachusetts area right now. She's a clinical psychologist, leader, speaker, and trainer, and she's the author of 5 Keys to Emotional Oneness, the Emotional Detox System, and the developer of the 5 Key Emotional Detox System. So welcome in, Celina. Ingun, who started us off and is our fearless leader who founded Female Wave of Change, is a dynamic change maker and entrepreneur who's always looking for new challenges. She has wide experience in sales and marketing, and after a successful career of almost 20 years in the corporate environment, started her own business in 2003. For the past 15 years, she's been advising a variety of industries and building bridges between people and organizations. Ingun founded Female Wave of Change just 3 years ago, which is, some of you may or may not know, a global movement of inspiring women that aims to connect women, to share knowledge and experience, and to create new opportunities together. As founding partner of Move into the Future, she guides men and women to reinvent themselves and recreate their future in this fast-changing world through training, mentorship, and through the support of a very active community. Move into the Future was launched in the Netherlands earlier this year and will be expanding internationally from the beginning of 2021. Welcome, Ingun. Wendy Mayhew has 40 years of business experience and is the author of Building Your Dream, a higher education textbook on entrepreneurship that is taught in colleges and universities across Canada and has been deemed the most practical textbook on entrepreneurship in the higher education market in Canada. As a professional advocate for and supporter of older entrepreneurs, Wendy was surprised to learn that there was no guide out there for the fastest growing group of new entrepreneurs in the world, people over the age of 50. That's when the idea of Wiser, the definitive guide to starting a business after the age of 50, was born. And this book is available on Wendy's website at wise-seniorinbusiness.com. Wendy Mayhew's company is Wiser Seniors in Business. After being an entrepreneur for close to 40 years and working with entrepreneurs 5 years, she moved over to working with older entrepreneurs. Welcome, Wendy. And Mom Yvonne Kgame from South Africa, we call her affectionately Mom Yvonne in Female Wave of Change. She is a circle. She is, yes, definitely a circle. She is a member of the Female Wave of Change Circle of Wise Women. She's a teacher, inspirational speaker, author, mentor, and director of YBK Consulting. She's a board member of United Way South Africa and chair of the Ithemba Educational Trust. She's played leading roles in broadcasting, publishing, community development, and education and training for over 30 years. She's participated in various women's forums, both locally and internationally, including chairing the International Association for Human Values. Yvonne believes in the healing power of storytelling and sharing authentic stories. In her own words, lasting change requires an open heart, a clear mind, a free spirit, and the courage to transcend life's challenges. Women are capable of leading their transformational journey. Believe it, own it, take action. Let us unite, use our diverse experiences and unique talents to be the change we desire for ourselves and the future generation. Welcome, welcome in, Mom Yvonne. So there's someone else who has joined us today, and her name is Moira Allen, and she's co-founder and international coordinator at the Pass It On Network, and she's joining us from, I believe, Paris, France today. So Moira, do you just want to take a few minutes to introduce yourself and share a bit about an event that happened yesterday? I'm sure the listeners would be interested in.
Thanks very much, Pamela. Thanks very much, Ingun. Thanks very much, Linda, because it's through Linda that I came to Ingun. What a wonderful name you've got for your organization. I love it. It's just got so much energy to it. We started the Pass It On network about 6 years ago now, and it's grown internationally. We have liaisons or ambassadors, as you call them, in about 70 countries now across the world and in all the continents. And we're thrusting now into Africa a lot and into South America. Last night we had a really fantastic event. We became members or accredited members of the United Nations Open-Ended Working Group in 1918, and we went to one of the sessions, and then we went again to the session in 1919, and we realized that the way to make some impact there would be to organize a side event. So we got busy with our Pass It On network, and there were 8 people who were going to go. In fact, 10 people who were going to go and be delegates to this event. And we organized our side event. And it was about the rights of older people to learn right up until whenever they felt like learning, and also to earn, and the importance of learning and earning in today's climate. Because I think, I don't know if you are, but I certainly do worry about whether my bank balance is going to take me right through to the end of my life. So I need to be in there batting and defending for myself. And these 2 rights are so important for older people. So we organized this whole event. We got some really excellent speakers, and then coronavirus knocked us off the face of the earth. But we did have a plan B, and that plan B was to go virtual and to do this on a Zoom platform. So we did, and last night we had 190 odd people who registered, and 123 who actually attended. And it was crazy. Can you imagine all the screens clicking across 7 screens? And then we had a wonderful person to do all our facilitation called Carrie Henley. And we broke out into 4 different groups. And each group treated a specific angle of the subject. Just to give you a very quick idea, we talked about the age-friendly universities, and we had a woman called Joanne Montpere who spoke to us about the age-friendly university movement, and especially about an organization that she has attached to her university. It's a living facility, and in order to be admitted as a senior person, you have to accept to do 450 hours of training every year, learning, and you have to subscribe to a physical fitness program and decide to eat completely well. So they use this as a kind of research base. It was extremely interesting. And then we had a wonderful woman from the AARP, and she was speaking to us about a collaborative program that they're doing with big business, with the OECD, and with the World Forum, Linda. The World Forum. And this whole idea is to work with these big corporations about seniors and to get rid of this ageist attitude that people have that seniors don't have any productive capacity. And that was really one of the highlights of the evening. And then we had another extraordinary person called Elizabeth Eisel, who develops the experienced economy. And she travels the world and preaches her story so well. And she talks very much like Wendy about the productive capacity of seniors and their capacity to create enterprises, and about all the factors of people over 50 and what they do. And then finally, we had somebody who presented us on the whole issue of digital literacy and how more and more offices are going in the cloud, and what this means and how everybody has to keep up. So I don't want to go on any further. I just want to say that networks are just the best. And I think that we see our role as a catalytic role. And the more that we can, the people around this table, this Zoom conference, and our people, the more we can get our networks together and catalyze our actions and have themes that we can go through, I think the better that we'll all be. And Bonnie, I'm so pleased to see you because I keep getting your newsletters and I've been dying to meet you. So this is a wonderful occasion. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Pamela and Ingun.
Thank you so much, Maura. That sounds like a fascinating event. I wish I'd been able to connect, but thanks for sharing that. And I'm sure many other people. What is your website if we want to learn more about the Pass It On?
I'll tap it into the chat box.
Okay.
It's simply passitonnetwork.org, all in one word.
Okay, thank you so much. So now I'd like to open it up to the panel to share their wisdom. And the first question I'd like to ask is, what is your purpose or mission? And also related to that, what is one big thing or project in your life that you're really excited about right now? So Bonnie, I invite you to share your wisdom.
Thank you so much, Ingun and Pam, for organizing this today. And I'm looking forward to just having a chat with everybody on this call at some other time. It's a wonderful group of women. And it's such a pleasure to be in a setting where we're talking about the role of older women when it comes to positively transforming our world. And I think that's really what it's all about, because the world is crying out, I think, right now for a new form of leadership that values the earth and its people. And I believe that we, as the wiser women, more mature women, more experienced women who have a different perspective, have a mandate to help this happen. My purpose, since you asked, is to be a catalyst for positive change. And looking back over everything I've done that's led me towards this, I realize that it's been the reason that I've given so freely as a leader, both at home and in countries around the world. And the beauty is, and if we give any lessons, I want you to hear this lesson number 1. You don't need to change everyone in order to transform the world. You need only to transform the lives of those you can. And you won't even know who some of those people are because you're a role model in everything you do. And I think this is one of the great lessons that comes with wisdom. You don't need to transform everybody. Do what you can, because they will in turn transform the others. And thus this wave of change, female wave of change, takes on a life of its own. And asking what my passion is today, I would say my passion is probably the culmination of all that I've done in the past. And I don't know about the others on this call, but I've always kind of thought, yes, this is it. This is what I've meant to be doing. And yet I realize it's what I'm doing today. And maybe there'll be something after this, I don't know. And that is the creation of Inspired Women Lead. As Pam so rightfully mentioned, it's a cross-border, cross-culture, cross-generational, cross-sector, free mentoring program to help women step into their greater leadership as authentic feminine leaders. And this is for the woman with a fire in her, who has a vision. She has something she knows she's meant to be doing or that she wants to make happen, and that has a greater benefit than just for her or for the woman who's on the threshold of something. But I believe that the most important values that we can be putting across as the ones who have lived a bit longer is really this necessity and the value of authentic feminine leadership, which is being based on being a catalyst for positive change, unconditional acceptance. That's really something to think about. Vision and inspiration. So my passion is, I think, transmitting this passion to others. And I'll stop there to leave room for others.
Thanks so much, Bonnie. Dr. Celina, would you like to answer the question, what's your purpose and mission, and what is one thing or project in your life that you're really excited about right now? Oh, we need to unmute. Can you unmute yourself, Celina?
Thank you for inviting me onto this panel. I appreciate being part of the female wave of change and the wiser women. Not so sure the older part, but the wiser woman, although I am 60 plus. So my purpose came through my years of exposures and experiences, traumas, loves, and culture and family. I learned how to live in silence for many years. So my passion and my purpose grew into helping those who now live in silence because of past tragedies and have not been able to generate their gifts that were given to them many years ago at birth or before birth, that God had given it to them, and have not been able to develop them because they have not been able to move through their silence. So I've created this vision for myself of bridging passions with mishaps, because I think the strengths for us to move past those darknesses that we've come through, and I don't know one woman who hasn't had a shadow of darkness, to come through some of that, some being larger than others, we have to be able to bridge the mishaps with our passions. So our passions is something that we were born with, right? We all have a passion. My passion as a little girl was observing behavior. I never knew what that meant. I didn't know what that meant for me. And I went from 8 years old to 30 living in a world of victimization. So when I came through that and was able to see those passions and knew that observing behaviors meant that I was going to help other people and I would become a healer. And so I bridged my mishaps with those passions. My gifts were obtained, and here I am today with the most amazing women that I have probably ever met. So I thank you for that. In terms of my aha moment, or the moment of my creating my project for my passion, is I call it Healing Hearts, Empowering Voices circles that I began in West Africa. My family is from the Cape Verde Islands, so I spent a lot of time in West Africa with them, with my culture, my family, my people, and I'm also have dual citizenship there. So I've created these circles, which is to bring greatness through darkness. And what I do with that is I've created a curriculum where I have been able to become involved with an NGO there. It's called Fundação Danana. And Fundação Danana has done so many wonderful things for the country, for many of the islands. As you know, Cape Verde has 10 islands. But I was focused on this one island to begin this project. It was on the island of Santiago, which is Praia is the capital of Cape Verde, and was able to create these circles with women and men. We actually did introductory circles and serviced 100 people. 80% of them were women who lived in the interior, who were unable to speak their voices because mental health being a taboo. They never would receive the help that they needed. So I'm the ambassador of emotional health. So we all have emotions. We all can open up to understanding those emotions and those feelings. So I created introductory circles, which I did in 4 areas of the interior. And what I was told is that I will never get the audience, but I had 100 people in attendance. So we've created the first phase, and now we will go back and I will train the NGO people to be over this project. I will train the leaders in the community that people trust to become the people who they will go to. I will train the hosts of these circles so that the people in the community can pick their hosts and people that they know will be their support and they trust also to guide and direct them. And we will continue with phase 2. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go in April, so I was trying to go in October, but that may not happen either. So we'll get back there and begin phase 2 of these circles. So that's my project from my life experiences, exposures, which were my greatest teachers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Celina, for that important work that you're doing. So Ingun, would you like to share your purpose or mission and something that you're really excited about right now?
Yes, well, I still feel very honored to be here in this group of wise women because I've never considered myself as being such. You know, for me, my passion and the thing that is really I'm working on almost day and night right now is to create that better world. And Female Wave of Change was created 3 years ago, and I really also have to thank Renee. She's not going to speak out loud today, but she's for me is very important in the whole building of Female Wave of Change. But since we started, you know, for me, it's really important that we are going to create a better world. You know, I really believe that we are leaving a mess for the next generations. And I want to do whatever we can to make it up to them, and to make sure that not just we, but also, you know, all those generations after us have a great life. So we have to be aware of what is happening to Mother Earth. We have to be, our mindset really has to change into something that is really more human. And, you know, also economy-wise, we have to change from all the numbers and the goals and the smart and whatever to we really have to make an impact on the lives of many. So Female Wave of Change for me really was something that I really wanted to build for women. Because why women? Because I do believe we need our feminine values and our feminine energy right now to make that positive change into the world. That is why I was focusing on women. And right now, I believe more than ever that it is our time. So for me, well, you know, my passion is to create a better world for each and every one of us. And yes, Bonnie, I hear what you say. You know, just transform the lives of those you can. My goal is, you know, to transform the lives of the ones, you know, of everyone. But I am very much aware that I have to start with the people around us. And I'm very much aware also that we have to do it together. So Marja, I absolutely believe that organizations like all of us, because we all have our organizations, we have to start working together to create a change, now more than ever.
Thanks so much, Ingun. Wendy, would you like to share your purpose or mission and something that you're really excited about right now? You need to unmute yourself, Wendy. Oh, just a sec. There you go.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I always forget to do that. And I'm having some problems from my end with unmuting and connecting sometimes. I don't know why, but anyways, so thank you for having me. So, all right, my passion is changing the narrative on entrepreneurs over the age of 50. I have been arguing, and I am going to say literally arguing with many people to try and get them to realize that we are innovative, we are successful, we need the same support and services as all groups of entrepreneurs. And so I keep meeting, I keep talking. I created the WISE 50 over 50 awards in 2017 to draw attention and prove people that non-believers that we are successful. In my first year, I had almost 100 applications and 80 organizations across Canada sharing the information on them. So I started a bit of a movement with that. It grew and grew and grew. Still having some problems getting people to really say, yeah, okay, yes, we understand that that older entrepreneurs are successful. And by the way, I don't know whether you know it or not, but we are 70% more successful than young entrepreneurs in our businesses. So there's still a lot of work to be done on that. Change has started to happen with some organizations, you know, allowing and inviting older entrepreneurs into their programs, but there's still a lot more to be done. And my mission is, and you know, it's been stronger and stronger and getting more important to me since pandemic started. But I do have my book. We know, we know that many people are going to be out of work after this. And we also know that it's going to be the older people that are let go first. And so my mission is to let everybody know about my book. I want to get it into organizations and small businesses that will know that they are laying, well, especially the corporations and whatnot. If you are going to have layoffs, don't tell them to go. Give them this book. Give them the opportunity to see what their future could be. It's not going to be for everyone, but at least give them the opportunity, because we also know that they're going to have a difficult time finding work, unfortunately. So that's what I'm all about. That's my passion.
Thanks so much, Wendy. Yvonne, I invite you now to share your purpose or mission and something that you're really excited about.
Wow, Pam. Thanks to you and to everyone. Now I do believe that our minds are forever young and our souls never die. Just having listened to each and everyone, I feel the energy and the power. That said, my purpose in life is to teach, is to inspire, is to engage those that I encounter. I do believe that I am here on planet Earth to be a blessing to all those that I encounter. And how so? To help each and every person to realize that they are greater than they can ever realize. There is so much power inside them that is waiting to exhale. If only they can embrace that, they can believe that, they can own their transformation journey and lead it to greater heights and do what needs to be done. I also believe that in my journey, I have experienced a lot of pain and suffering. But I wake up every day with enthusiasm to share how we can rise above that. Because despite my challenges and whatever I went through, I met sacred encounters who shared their skills, their knowledge, their experience, and life lessons with me. And I took that baton, and now it's my time to hand the baton to all those that encounter. And I'm particularly inspired by engaging women and young people, because it is my belief that there is so power in women. They are nurturers. They are game changers. We can create a better world together. But as a loving mother, I always think about our children and say, what kind of tomorrow are we creating for them? So whoever I meet in my life, I say, lend me your ear, let me hear your story so you can hear mine. And I do believe that we can tap into ancient wisdom, but it's also important to listen to the young ones. They too have a story to tell, and they've got new ideas that can help us shape and create better things together. What is my passion at this particular moment? I think it's using my talents and my gifts to teach. I enjoy the projects that I'm working on now, so which is what I believe in most, because I believe that knowledge is our strength and health is our wealth. So I am also working with United Way South Africa, and the focus is to create jobs, but also to focus on education and on health. So that inspires me so much, because that's the reason I think why I came to planet Earth. And what I like about teachers is that it's not only about giving our skills and knowledge, but it's also to learn. So those are the things that keep me awake. I also enjoy empowering women, of course, so that they can be financially strong, because I think part of the oppression and the submissiveness comes from lack of independence. So that is what I love. Once a teacher, always the teacher. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mom Yvonne. So thank you all for sharing your purpose or missions and also the things that you're excited about. So it's very clear to me, and I'm sure everybody who's listening, that these women who are older women are certainly not sitting around in their rocking chairs. They're out there building movements and doing amazing things in the world. So the next question that we have to put to the panel is, what is your vision of what the world will look like after COVID-19? And what do you believe will be your contribution toward that vision? So what is your vision of what the world will look like after COVID-19? And what do you believe will be your contribution to that vision? I think someone may need to mute themselves. We're hearing a bit of background. Thank you. So Bonnie, do you want to start us off?
Oh, I love this question because somehow everything I do depends on this vision. Because I dream of a world of peace, understanding, collaboration, and purity, where each individual is valued and respected for her or his uniqueness. And to me, that is it's what drove me to launch Inspired Women Lead. It's which is now being driven by a whole team of other women, which is fantastic. So it will be sustainable. And I think that the question you ask is so important because, one, I believe for this world to happen, that we must have women leading at all levels of leadership and around the globe, and all ages of women. This is really important that we have this intergenerational mix, because we need to be learning from each other in order to lead forward to the world that we are dreaming of. And I believe this to my very core. I believe that really this is what's going to drive our world forward in a positive way. And I know some people find this difficult, but I'm actually quite excited about this sadly exceptional moment in history that we're actually living in right now with the pandemic, because I see it as a gift. I really believe that despite the illnesses, the sacrifice, even the deaths, that this is a moment of opportunity and of possibility when we're actually being called on to ask ourselves exactly what you just asked me, Pam. What do I want my world to look like in the future? Mine is one of peace, understanding, collaboration, and purity. And I believe that what is happening in the world today, where we're seeing strangers talking to each other and helping each other, money is taking on a different sense of value. We're seeing greater respect, I believe, in many cases for individuals. And I realize that it's not for everybody. But I believe that what is happening today is bringing us towards this greater understanding of what it means to be a global community. And that word community is a really important one, because that's what's going to be bringing us together. And I think the greatest lesson that we can take away here is to manifest what we want this world to look like. One of my former mentees sent me a video that I just got chills all over me. She was a candidate in the primaries for the French presidency in the last elections. And she recently spoke at a women's rally in Paris, where there were, I don't know, thousands of women. And she gave her acceptance speech as President of France. in the next elections. And what she had to say was a manifestation of what most of us want. And I think this is so important. It's for us to already be thinking as though we're there and as though we've done it. Because we are the catalyst to make this happen. We are the ones that I think with this wisdom, we have a fantastic perspective. Because we know that it's not, yes, this too shall pass. It's yes, each of us can influence what comes to pass in the future. And to me, that can only be done really with women stepping into their rightful place as authentic feminine leaders at all ages. I join everything that was said before, because it's going to take each of us doing what we're doing to make that happen. Sorry, I get kind of excited. That's all I have to say.
Nothing wrong with excitement. That's why we influence others and excite them and inspire them, Bonnie. Thank you very much for that powerful vision. Dr. Celina, would you like to share what your vision is of what the world will look like after COVID-19 and how you see yourself contributing to that?
Okay, so I'm really excited, and I agree with Bonnie. I'm really excited about the whole idea of what will transpire from all of this travesty that's going on currently, all these shifts in our normalcy, all these shifts in what we're used to, the traditional things that we've had in place for hundreds and hundreds of years have now been shifted. And God has shaken this up, and he's saying we've got to wake up. And we have a new, they call it a new normal. I think the new normal is a new consciousness. I think that we were heading into unconsciousness. I think the unconsciousness of yesterday, where nothing mattered, the selfishness was under, we were having mass killings and all these horrific things that we know was being going on in the globe. And I see my excitement is to be part of the new consciousness, to look at how we're going to rebuild and rework things. How are we going to reinvest and make new relationships? I want to be part, but my book is it's on emotional detoxing, correct? And I want to be part of the global detoxification. I want to be one of the healers that are in part of bringing people to loving each other again, bringing people to working from the heart, really being authentic with who we are, not having our shallow, our tunnel, our cylinders that we live within, not fearing, being more vulnerable, being more open about who we are, what we expect, what we can and cannot do, and what we can learn from you and you can learn from me. I want to be part of that whole brand new opening. I want to be part of the new putting together, pasting and gluing, taking some from the past and some from the future. And I really want this unconsciousness to be dealt with. And that's where my heart is.
Well, I can tell. You have a lot of passion around it, Celina. Thanks so much for sharing. Very exciting. So Ingun, would you like to share your vision of what the world could look like after COVID-19 and your contribution to that vision?
Well, I don't know about you, but I get these chills constantly, and there's this heater running here, so it's not the temperature here. It's really wonderful what I hear, and like you, I really do believe that this was supposed to happen. You know, we had all the signs that something had to happen to make us aware of the situation of what the world was in, of what we were in, you know, the level of consciousness, and, you know, and whether you talk about war, or whether we were talking about the fires in Australia, or whether we were talking about, you know, the situation, the health of our planet, it was all these things happening that you really felt like things had to happen. And wait, I have to admit someone. Yeah. And this is really something that, of course, it is terrible. And of course, after Corona, there will be a lot of people who are, you know, will have lost their jobs. There will be business owners who will have lost their business. There will be people who have lost families. You know, you see whole families being wiped away. There is so much happening, and that is, you know, that is why I cry now for the world. You know, that is, it is awful, but it is bringing us to that new level, and it has to happen. This was the only way to really to create that change fast. And within the female wave of change, we're always talking about reshaping the future. But the only thing we were doing, or what was possible, is to make minor changes here and minor changes there. And this is so big that we can be, that we really can take responsibility and really create a new world. I really see a new world that is, you know, much more connected, that is much more focused on human values, that is much more focused on creating impact for each and every one. That is, you know, that we live so close together. You know, we already see it. What is happening here already in my own very small community, people reaching out to each other. That is so fantastic. And, you know, it is impossible, and that is also, I posted today on the social media, my biggest fear is that we are going to what it was. And it is not going to happen, you know, whatever I can do, that is not going to happen. So we will work on, with Female Wave of Change, of course, we will work on that new, and I love this. This is the next step we're taking. The next panel discussion will be on the new normal. Please, someone take notes. It will be on the new normal, because we are going to define what that new normal is according to us. And, you know, also with my new company, Moving to the Future, and I've been talking with Wendy about that a lot, you know, I do believe that we have to tap into that wisdom of the older generation. And also even, you know, our ancestors. There is so much happening there. And those of you who know me and hear me speak, it's, I tell the story of the Iroquois Indians who always talk about the 7 generations. Every decision you make today, you think about how it will affect the life of 7 generations from now. Your children's children's, whatever, there, somewhere there. And that is so important. We have to create that better world for them and take responsibility. And the older generation has to be there. There is no room for sitting back and relax. There is almost, well, no room to really enjoy being retired. The next generation needs you. And, you know, a couple of days ago, I heard that the generation that feels this crisis at its worst is the millennials, the 30-something generation. This is the first time that they see something happening that is so so confusing for them. You know, the last crisis, opportunity, chance, what we call it, but the last crisis was in 2008. That's 12 years ago. Someone being 30 now was 18 and still partying, and you know, they were not aware of what was happening. This is their first time, and they feel confused. What is happening to my world? Well, they are confused, and we have to be there. We have to step into. They need us. We cannot step back, and especially as entrepreneurs. And I really love that with Wendy's perspective as well. You know, don't count on these corporates, the big corporates right now, because they have no idea how to deal with this whole situation. They are not flexible enough to survive the next, even if they do, you know, the next 2 years, they will not the next 5 years. There will be a new world. There will be, that is what I really believe in and have been working towards in the last 3 years to really make change happen. Be responsible, be who you are, and take the next step from who you really are. So take that dive into who you are and what you want to contribute to the world. Act.
Thanks so much, Ingun. for your passion and your vision. So Wendy, would you like to share what your vision is for the world after COVID-19 in your contribution to that?
I don't even know how I can follow or even say anything more than these other fabulous women of what they've already said. It's just amazing. So I have always embraced change, and this has been a little bit more of a change than I had wanted or expected, but I am embracing it. Yes, we are in a new norm. I don't necessarily like this new norm, as I have always been a person that I like face-to-face meetings. I like that handshake. I like that hug. Those things are over, probably for the most part. So that is what I'm really going to miss about that. I said to someone the other day that the millennials who are the Zoom people, they don't have that personal communication. I was trying to fight going the other way, but it looks like they have won, that we are going this way, their way. And so that is what I don't like about the future. I think that the future is going to have a lot of chaos whenever this pandemic is over. Corporations aren't going to know how to react to anything. It's just the world has changed. So many people, I mean, the governments are, the total focus, and rightfully so, is on the pandemic right now. But then they are going to have the fallout of everything that has happened over this, and how are they going to deal with that? And being women, though, we adjust to change and can take charge a lot faster than our male counterparts. And I think that is what we are going to have to offer over them. So we are going to be, what's the word I'm looking for? I always got a loss for words, sorry. We are going to be the leaders, because we are going to make the changes that have to be made. That's all I have to say. I'm sorry.
Oh, don't be sorry. You're very passionate about this, Wendy. Thanks for sharing your vision and how you plan to contribute to it. So, Celina, do you want to share your vision for the world after COVID-19 and your contribution to it? Oh, excuse me. That was a mistake here. I obviously don't know my alphabet. Mom Yvonne. Do you want to unmute yourself? Thank you.
Yes, I have done so. Thank you, Pam. I dream of this new world order where we will all be free. Free from stress, free from the gases that we fumigate ourselves with, free from the burden that we create ourselves by just always chasing things. So I dream of that a free world where there will be harmony, just because we will have learned hard lessons and start to live a joyous life, and to know that it's simple things that count in life. Loving yourself and loving others. Living the life that you were here to manifest, and even better, just loving others and serving. I also dream of this world where there will be unity, where we will all come together as one and realize that at the end of it all, we are just but ash, from ash to ash. So why the stress? Why do we lead such painful lives? Because we just want everyone to be like us. We're not embracing difference. We're not acknowledging and accepting people just the way they are. So what is it that I will do? I will tap into ancient wisdom and merge it with the lessons I've learned now and usurp the power of story and use that as a tool to inspire, to bring hope, to let people understand that stories heal, but not only that, they also unlock your potential. They also help you to delve in and heal inside, because I believe that if the inner world is not in order, if you have not dealt with those deep cuts, and if you don't heal, you will not even enjoy that harmony that we're talking about around. So my big contribution will be to remind each and every person that we are all authors of our lives. We all have a story to tell. Only if we believe in ourselves and we're taking the responsibility and the accountability that only us can make our voices be heard. Only us can do the best we can so that we are listened to. And I will continue to plant that evergreen seed, I believe, which is my mantra, Nolita, that in life, nurture yourself and nurture others. But it's very important for all of us to be observant, observe the world around you. Had we observed what was happening, maybe we would have long. I remember when I was still in broadcasting, I said the climate change will bring viruses and bacteria that we've never even heard about. But at the time, you know, it's just saying. So if we listen and we listen to that not being said, listen deeper. I believe so much in listening integrity. And I will continue to use inspiration, inspire people to be innovative and creative, to find new answers to our current problems. But it's also important to trust ourselves, trust life. It's also important that we have hope. I love hope because it says all is well. There is a brighter future. I don't see it, I don't feel it, I don't hear it. It's not here, but it's coming, it's there, it's gonna happen. And most important, act audaciously, because nothing happens until we move. And we can even end that mantra as Nolitas, so that we serve. And as you serve, smell that rose, because my biggest lesson in what is happening now was that, hey, life is simple. So why am I complicating it? Isn't it lovely when you look outside, there's no traffic, there's fresh air, you are present, extraordinary present with your family. You can smell fresh air, you can hear the birds sing, you can be together as much as you can. And because I think the way we live our lives now, we've actually forgotten that life begins at home, and that's the only place that it never ends. I had a beautiful experience because I was a workaholic. Nothing wrong with working hard, but being a workaholic, running away from people, that's a disease, which is what I suffered in my life. But guess what? Who did I see at the ICU? My family. And who was there when my heart was broken, my body was just so hurt, couldn't do anything? It was my family. And when you look at, did business stop just because Yvonne was down for 8 months? No, we didn't. It continued as usual. So what matters? And what matters is exactly what I've just shared, that it's living a full life. It's being extraordinarily present. It's being joyful, it's loving, it's serving, is touching those who are in need. I think one of us shared that after this, more than every other thing, there will be casualties. The impact of what is happening now is huge. So for me, I think it's that calling to do my part, use my gifts and my talents to help people to live a balanced life, to simplify their lives, but to know that it is not just about you and your family. You are here to serve. So be there for yourself, be there for others. And in that moment, don't forget that life is meant to be joyful. So look for those moments that we can celebrate life, be there for each other. And I am so glad that I'm part of the Female Wave of Change, because it has been my dream all the life that, oh, take me to a place where there are no borders, where my voice and my story can be shared so it can touch lives and reach minds and help all of us to be the best we can. So that if you ask me how I feel now, what will I say on my last day? To be just one word: thank you. And that's
well, thank you. Thank you, Mama Yvonne, for sharing your wisdom, your vision, and your enthusiasm for life. So now we're going to move on to a bit of a different question. And that is, what qualities do you believe are important for women leaders now and in the future? And in addition to that, what is one piece of advice you would give younger women leaders as to how they could be the change they want to see in the world? So, Bonnie, would you like to kick us off?
Thank you. Yes. Everything that Mama Yvonne just said kind of is culminated in this. And I think the most important is we are living in fear right now. And the opposite of fear is love. And who shows love more than a woman? And I think one of the most important messages here is to come back to this question of authenticity, to not try to fit into any kind of model, anything that exists, but to show up truly as yourself and to lead with your values. What is important and who are you? I think integrity comes into this, because when you're living authentically, when you are showing up as who you are, life is so much simpler. And I think what's beautiful is right now we are seeing a new breed of women leaders. I don't know how many of you saw the Prime Minister of Norway, who recently had a press conference for children on the coronavirus. She wanted children to understand what was happening, for them to ask her questions. She had no regular press present. Only children could be asking questions. And at the same time, we saw the Prime Minister of New Zealand have a webinar with two doctors. One of those doctors was Muslim, and one of those doctors was one of the indigenous from the country. And just the image. Now, a man wouldn't have thought of that, I don't think. I think that comes from what Ingun said about 7 generations. I think it comes from the more holistic outlook, and it comes from just living authentically, being yourself and not trying to be somebody else. So the other thing I would like to say here is, in the work I've done with Age Esteem, the work I've done in motivation, the work I've done with women around the world, something that keeps coming out is, as women, we do not believe we are worthy. And this is part of the 7 generations before us. We've been brought up to believe we're not quite equal. And I think it's important for women to start stepping up authentically in order to be able to realize just how worthy they truly are. So that's another aspect of that. And my one bit of advice is to simply become a pro at being yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie. So live authentically, have integrity, and become a pro at being yourself. So Dr. Celina, do you want to briefly share what qualities you believe are important for women leaders now and in the future, and one piece of advice you'd give a younger woman? You need to unmute yourself, Dr. Celina.
Sorry.
No worries.
So I think that this is a time for us to be quiet and still, right? God has said, it's time for you to be quiet and still. It's time for you to listen. We have been living in fragmentation. We have fragmentations coming through our life in so many different areas. We cannot pull ourselves into one piece. My book is about oneness. It's about pulling ourselves into a oneness, a symphony within ourselves. And we can't do that right now because we have turned up the volume up to now has been turned up. We need to turn down the volume because there's so much more inside of us that wants to come out. We have to be able to, Yvonne, thank you for what you said. That was beautifully said. And I love storytelling, and I do a lot of it through the work that I do. But we have to turn down the volume. And Bonnie, you're absolutely right. We have to be authentic. And again, we have to not fear self-exposure. This is a time, right? This is safe. You're with your families. You're with people you love. Everyone is vulnerable right now. So this is a time to unload, unleash, unveil, get rid of some of the things that have, I do this thing called the inner culture, looking at our inner culture. And in looking at our inner culture, we really don't know what has infiltrated us. We don't know what the fragmentations are that have taken away from the gifts that we really present, we really have. Because we have all these other pieces that we have to deal with every day. We are now given the gift of sitting in our own pieces. I mean, I'm learning things about Celina that I didn't know that I was capable of doing. So let's turn down the volume. Be quiet and still. Look at your inner culture. Who am I? The thing that I'm presenting right now that doesn't feel so good inside of me, why does that not feel good inside of me? Why do I feel a little different right now in this? Then we go to our thread of life. We look at our thread of life. Where does that come from? Why does it bother me when certain things happen? It sends me off in a little way. It distracts me. And where is that in my lifetime that it began? How do I deal with that? Let's look at who we are. Let's create our culture. Let's tell our stories. Let's begin to understand our own stories. And I think that we have to look at these fragmentations because we have these influxes of fragmentations that burden us, that weigh us down. So in terms of qualities, let's turn it down. Let's look within. Let's get a little bit deeper. Let's understand so we can put it out in a way tomorrow that is going to be so amazing. Stories that are going to be told are going to be so touching and healing. Just tell your story. And it's going to be, you're going to be making an impact. In terms of the younger women, really is important to detoxify yourself and learn your value. You got to detoxify yourself and learn your value. Somewhere along the line, we've begun to believe that our outer image is what it is that brings upon our presentation, who we are. But we have value. Our values go beyond that, and they're laying deep inside of us. We have to understand that value. What makes me, you know, if you got, you know, looking at your naked self without the makeup and without the pretty clothes and without all that, what is my value? What do I have to offer right now? How can I make a change? How can I grow the next generation? How can I make an impact? How can I tell the next person something that I really am authentically believing in because it's part of my value system? So know your value. You know, we have to be able to create. I think we're in a place right now where we have the gift of being able to replenish our soul, that we can replace the things that have been disturbing in there and put the things that are good and loving and heartfelt and warm. And, you know, the other thing, you know, Yvonne talked about families. We are so much involved with our families sometimes to the negative that we need to turn that around. We need to look at our families in a whole new positive light and not make those little things that, you know, you didn't call me last week, so I'm not talking to you tomorrow. Because today we need to change. Change has to occur, and we need to redo that within ourselves first, bring it out to the world, and know our value. So young women, I actually called a woman in Cape Verde and asked her about young women and what her thoughts would be about this. She's an amazing author. Her name is Celina, my name, Sage. And Celina Sage said, be true to yourself. Believe in yourself. This is a 37-year-old woman who has given up her life as an engineer, moved to Cape Verde, lives in the mountains, and she's a Zen master, and she writes these amazing books. She said, become the true version of who you want to be deep down inside. She said, know your value and never accept mistreatment or toxic environments. Love yourself fiercely and continue to follow in the direction of your dreams. Amen.
Thank you very much, Dr. Celina. So, you know, again, there's a theme of authenticity, really understanding, knowing yourself and your value. Thank you. So, Ingun, would you like to share?
Here, you know. I can understand that Wendy says, so what do I add? You know, it's, you know, what I was thinking about, so what am I going to say? What is it that I feel right now? What is happening here in this group? And, you know, I hear about authenticity and so many things that women need and already have within them when they really go dive deep, dare to dive deep and find it. I'm going to keep it very short, and I'm going to advise them to find a tribe of positive, authentic, and very diverse women and men to change the world into a better place. That's it.
Thank you. So find a tribe of authentic women and men who will change the world. Thank you. Okay, Mom Yvonne, we need to be fairly short here. Our time is running. So can you please share with us what qualities you believe are important for women leaders now, and one piece of advice you'd give a younger woman?
I think for me, I'd like to have women that are dependable. It's warm-hearted, and it comes from me like, you know, what I like is a sunrise. There is no day where any one of us has woken up and say, oh, today it's night 24/7. So we need, I think, as women to be that dependable, to be like that sunbeam and spread our love and light, you know, beyond our borders. But my message to women today would be, change the script, write a new story of hope. Be bold. Why? Because you need to believe in yourself, because you need to own your transformation journey, because you need to lead yourself to the destination that you dream about. every second, every minute, every day, but that cannot happen unless you do something. Just be.
Thank you. Yvonne, wise words. Just be and change the script. Write your own story of what you want your life to look like and the world. So thank you all for...
You missed Wendy.
Oh, did I miss Wendy? My sincere apologies. Wendy, I obviously don't know my alphabet again here. I'm getting so enthralled in all the excitement and passion. So Wendy, I didn't mean to my mission. Sincere apologies. So what qualities?
Don't worry about it. It's a hard act to follow here, so it would have been okay.
No, it wouldn't. We'd love to hear from you about what qualities you think are important for women leaders of the future, and one piece of advice you'd give a younger woman in terms of how.
Okay, so I think that we should all be very accepting. We should all be collaborating and embracing other women and helping them in any way they can. With regard to young women, believe in yourself and move forward. And that's it.
Thank you so much. So I gotta, if I can take a quick minute here to share some of the key threads. What's coming through is really be authentic, uncover your values, and be true to them. Really think about what you want the world to look like and how you can influence it. And don't be afraid to stand in your power. Step up, reach out, collaborate with other women. Yeah, like some powerful messages from all you inspiring dynamic women leaders. I mean, you truly have inspired me, and I'm sure you've inspired everyone else on the call. And, you know, I wish you all well in your visions, and you've made me really think, even though I have several vision boards in my office here, and I get really clear, much clearer about the future vision and how I might play a role moving forward. So thank you. Thank you. Now, I think we have a few minutes here to open the floor to questions or comments. Anybody have questions from folks who are listening on the line? And if you do, if you just want to raise your hand like this and then unmute yourself. Yes, Shashi. Do you want to unmute? There you go.
Yeah, thank you, all of wiser women. I will not say older women. And I am really so pleased to hear this, especially this, our online conference. And I just want to say I never got that much influence, vision, mission. And it's like I'm in the wisdom of melting pot, where I am getting all of the wisdom from all the experienced, female. And here my question is to Wendy. I just would like to ask Wendy that how you see or what you say, those are the, or you feel for the young or growing new organizations, and they and at the same time they are getting lead by the young generation, how they can create or collaborate or can contribute to your mission, which you are having 50+ generation, and they should be how they can be a part of that. What you think, like is it like they should start something kind of, I've seen many company and organization, they started sort of engagement in terms of internship or for the 50+ people to utilize their wisdom and experience, at same time make them feel contribution. What else you feel, what can be other ways?
I think that the contributions from different age groups is just so relevant and should be done. And I think that small business, they are mostly focused on the young people for now. But, if you're really interested in this, you get in touch with the business organizations in your area. And you know what, the new norm might be just through all of this too, so it doesn't have to be in your area. But, find out those organizations that are supporting older entrepreneurs and tell them that, you're looking for wisdom. You may be looking for mentorship, Or maybe you want to start a business with them, and you sit down and you start the discussion on what you both have to offer to that organization or to that business that you're thinking of doing. The one thing that I strongly believe in is that intergenerational businesses are so important, with the two different sets of skills, but there has to be someone in there that does training so that you will be able, and I don't like the word training, but that is the word I'm using right now for the sake of anything else. Perhaps it's workshops on having you two, I'm saying that it is you and someone else, going head to head with problems and solving them. It's unfortunate that, and I'll tell you a story of, just a very quick story of I know a mother and daughter who started a business together. They are now not talking to each other. And, that is so sad. It's just, they both have great skills, but one has just taken over the other, and it's not a pretty picture. I mean, and that's not only a personal relationship that is having problems, but it's how that is also affecting their business in a big way. How can you grow your business? How can you be successful? So there is, and I have talked about putting an intergenerational program together, and having people do problem solving. So that could be something down the road. But right now, I suggest that you reach out to a small business organization in your area, or just email me if you want, and I'll see what else I might be able to come up with for you.
Thank you. That's just, maybe I would be interested later for more to get to know about intergenerational, because that was my concern. There is always squishing feeling and pushing feeling to each other when you are talking about this generational concept. So that's what I would like to know more, maybe further. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
So Wendy, so Shashi, do you know Wendy's email? Can you get that? Do you know that?
Not at the moment.
Okay, it's Wendy at Launch It Right. I'll put it in the chat.
Yes, because I don't want to be wrong to reach out to you.
Yeah, okay, thanks very much for that.
Thank you.
Anybody else have a question for the panel?
Okay, I think I spelled it right here.
I'll just contribute. I would like to hear, after Maura and Renee listening in, their impression of the whole.
The feeling I get is that we're not the same, obviously, but we are so similar in our thinking, or as I sometimes say, we are more alike or more similar than we're different. And what a power we have here in our hands. And I mean power in a good way, obviously. So yeah, I was just, I know a couple of you, but some of you were new. So I think it brought different complementary wisdom and insights. And I think we have gold in our hands if we come together and collaborate. All these beautiful qualities that we say that we need in the future and that women typically have. So I need to think about what to do, but it's fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. Moira, did you want to share?
It's just been an absolutely amazing hour and a quarter spending with you. It's just, there's so many, as Renee's just said, we like a diamond and we've all got different facets, but it's the same diamond. It's just unbelievable. And diamonds, as we know, are very, very precious. I would just like to share with you the inspiration for our Pass It On network came from a Hopi Indian. And he wrote a wonderful poem which was all about change. And the first line basically says something like, the 11th hour, wake up, it's here already. The river is flowing so fast and you mustn't be afraid to leave the shores. And then he goes on and on. But it's the last line that really moved us to action. And that last line was, we are the ones we have been waiting for. And I always find that so powerful, especially for an older person. There is nobody ahead of us to show us the way. We are the ones that we've been sitting around waiting for. So it endorses everything that everybody said, doesn't it? To be our own true selves, to be authentic, to have the values, and to have the confidence as Yvonne so brilliantly said, we all have those gifts to bring them out to the world. And I'll send you a copy of this poem that you might like to share with everybody. Thank you so much for including me. I've had a wonderful time with you. Have to get to know you all better. And then just finally, Ingun, we must talk about how we can get our different networks together and have a panel of networks and see what we can, how we can energize ourselves, because that's what it is.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Moira. I think you did a really good summary of the panel and all that they shared and what we need, the gifts and talents we need to move forward. And I love the metaphor of the diamond, that we're all, you know, we're all very precious and we all represent different facets of that diamond. So thank you all of the panelists and all the participants, panelists for sharing your wisdom, your knowledge, your dynamism, and your enthusiasm for life. Really, really appreciate each and every one of you for sharing your gifts with us today. And thank you to all of you who have come to listen and to share. Thank you so much. And together we will change the world.
Yes,
Thank you,
yes.
Pam.
Thank you, Pam,
Without a doubt, without a doubt.
facilitating so beautifully. And thank you, everyone. I have learned so much. Now I know that we are one. You just felt like I was listening to my aunties and my grandmothers. So all I can say is that I will never be the same from today. I will look with new eyes, and I'm grateful. I love you all.
Oh, so nice.
Blessings.
Yes.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, Debbie.
Try to be authentic, Bonnie.